Okay, we're rolling.
Yeah, my name is Seth Hynes. I'm the president of HH Catamarans.
And we're at the Miami Boat Show, and we're on a relatively new boat.
Yeah, this is hull 5 of our HH 44. So this is the 2024 boat of the year. This model is an SC version, so sports cruising version. So we have an OC, ocean cruising, and then this kind of skews up, gets you a few more of kind of the racing bells and whistles. So we have a full carbon mast that comes with the boat, pre-preg carbon daggerboards, carbon rudders, basically just a little bit more carbon and more strength throughout the boat.
If you're talking to sailors who are interested in catamarans, which type of buyer is most likely to become an owner?
Yeah, no, that's a great question because there's so many different boats here at the show, and I think what's interesting about yacht design is there's always trade-offs. There is no perfect boat, and there's reasons for every boat here. The reason for this boat, what we're trying to do is build basically a cruising boat for an owner that doesn't want to compromise. So throughout the whole boat, we're putting on the very, very best equipment that we can buy, whether it be, the winch systems or real glass windows instead of plastic. We're using epoxy throughout our construction instead of polyester. Throughout the whole boat, there's just example after example of us not compromising on the selections that we've made. And our goal is to try to build the ultimate cruising boat for a couple. This boat is owned by a family with 2 kids, and it's meant to be owner operated. We do not build charter versions with 4 cabins. We really only build owners versions. So one hull is always going to be for that owner's cabin. And it's, so our buyers really are, skewed typically your traditional retired couple that wants to buy the best boat for their 5-year, 10-year sabbatical. And they don't want to compromise. That's typically who's buying this boat.
You've been with the company how long?
I've been with the company for 3 years. Before that, I've crossed the Pacific twice on 2 different types of catamarans. The first time I was on what I call a condo maran, which there's nothing wrong with that. There's Leopard, Fountain Peugeot, Bali, Lagoon. They're all building a boat that's really designed more for charter, and those boats are great. Huge, walk around beds and very comfortable living spaces. Condos on the water, but they're not going to be great sailing boats. They're not going to sail upwind. They don't have daggerboards. They're not going to do well maybe crossing oceans in true blue water conditions. So for my second time around, I cruised on a performance catamaran. And during that second crossing of Pacific with my family, I went with my 3 boys and my wife. We learned so much about what we think makes a cruising boat a great cruising boat for that type of a crossing, of a true blue water adventure for many, many years living aboard. And it changes the type of boat that you're going to want to buy. And so I'm a believer that a true blue water boat is going to be, a boat that is made out of epoxy or 50% carbon fiber like the one we're standing on, where it's been built for the strengths and stresses of a true blue water crossing. So I could go through this boat for an hour just sort of pointing out, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the decisions that were made on this particular design. But yeah, there's all sorts of design choices out there for customers to pick and choose from.
And so, okay, ocean cruising. I think you said there are two of these models, and this is a sports cruiser.
Yeah.
Would the sports cruiser go across an ocean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're both cruising boats. We're building cruising boats for in this, probably a small family or a couple to live on full time, and they're designed to be blue water liveaboards. So they're cruising boats. But if the owner comes from a racing background or does want to enter into a fun rally or a regatta, this is a boat that can sail really well upwind. It's going to track with the monohulls. It's going to be up there, especially in the bigger sizes, with gunboats. We used to build the gunboat brand in our bigger boats, our 66s and our 60s. Those are Grand Prix, maxi catamarans that could do regattas and racing on a weekend, and then the next day you're going cruising with your wife.
So over the time that HH Catamarans has been in business, how has the product evolved and improved?
Yeah, great question. So over the, HH has been around for about 15 years. And I mentioned before we were making the gunboat 60s. So the same yard today is building all of our boats. And we started out with the HH 66. That boat won Boat of the Year. We then made a smaller version because not everybody wants a 66-foot behemoth. That was more of a captain boat. And we made a HH 55, that one boat of the year, as kind of the first size that an owner operator could manage. So somebody with a knowledgeable sailor without a captain could go cruising on that boat. We then made a smaller size than that, an HH 50, that one boat of the year. And then now we're on the HH 44, which also won boat of the year, as I said, last year. And this is our small size, the small size that we're going to make. We think this is a great size, really, for a cruising couple. It's funny, yes, we'll build you a bigger boat, and there's a tendency in the industry for people to buy bigger and bigger and bigger boats. But I'll still tell people, like, buy the boat that feels comfortable for you to live on, but it's a small size you could buy. Because the loads and the sails get easier, it's easier to dock, easier to maneuver through a marina, easier for a couple to operate. And so we think this 44 is just about the small size that we would build for a true blue water boat. You still want that waterline length to give you speed through the water and a comfortable platform. But this brings our price point down, and the availability for more people to get into an HH and still be able to manage it and go cruising around the world themselves. And then one more thing to answer your question, this is kind of our second generation of boats. There's been a huge leap in the last couple of years with electrification. So you can see behind me, there's 4,200 watts of solar on the top of this coach roof. We also have a diesel electric parallel hybrid on this boat. So this is brand new technology. It's coming into the cruising world. I think it's the propulsion system of the future. More than likely, half of these boats in the future will be using this type of a system, because you can do electric propulsion or you can do diesel propulsion. So you have two different ways, and that redundancy helps make the boat safer. But how great to be able to use electric motors, not use petroleum, not use diesel and oil, not change your oil all the time, and you're using electric to get out to the wind, put up your sails, and then sail this eco-friendly boat out to the next anchorage. So I think it's the wave of the future, and we've now launched our 44 with that system. Our 52 just came out. It was just announced that's up for boat of the year for 2025. And then our new 56 will be out next year, which are kind of all of our new generation of this eco-friendly concept.
Well, congratulations on the awards. Sounds
yeah,
like
every
that's
boat.
kind of the norm.
Well, it's stressful. It's kind of we almost expect it now, but it's quite a privilege, and we appreciate the awards that we've received.
Yeah. So, ballpark, your customers need how much money to, whether it's a 44 or a much bigger boat?
So you're looking at about 1.2 million fully equipped for the OC version of this boat, the 44. And we build all the way up to an HH 88, which would be about 15 million today. So 1.2 for this boat that we're on today, it's about 1.5 for the SC version. And then, with options, you can get up to 1.7. For our 52 footer, you're looking at about 2.2 million US. It's a lot, but as I said earlier, it's a cruising catamaran without compromise. And it's for the type of customer that you're already going to spend a lot on some of these other boats. If you're going to spend a little bit more, what do you get for that? We hope and like to think that maybe an all carbon epoxy race boat, cruising boat like this is something that appeals to people.
Other than what you've just described, if you had to pick one or two details that, ideas that have come forward with this 44 relative to the boats that came before it, what would you point to?
There's all sorts of pretty cool innovations in this boat that has carried on to our 52 and our 56. I'm leaning against one of our giant windows here. So this is a glass and carbon fiber window frame that we build so that the entire front of the boat basically opens up. And it opens up very easily. And again, it's not plastic, it's glass. It's going to last and you have great visibility. That's one example. The folding transoms on the back of the boat are another. The whole back of the boat folds up, which is a first for a cruising catamaran. The eco drives obviously are a big innovation. The curved C-shaped dagger boards. I believe there's only one other cruising catamaran that even offers curved dagger boards. Those boards take up less space in the cabinway down below, and then they also do give the boat a little bit of lift to windward when you're underway. The flexible solar, 4,200 watts of solar to again power that electrical system. I don't know. There's just a lot of neat innovation. Oh, and the swing helms. We didn't invent that, but this boat is dual swing helms, so you can swing the helms inboard or outboard, depending if you want to be out in the wind, have your hair in the wind in the sun, with great visibility of your telltales, or if you want to be protected. So this one boat just has so many design iterations, and it's just a big leap forward from where I think cruising catamarans were. And I think you'll see those ideas, percolate throughout the industry.
Who do you work with on the designs?
James Hakes actually designed this boat, the HH44, but all the underwater appendages on all HHs are designed by Morelli and Melvin. So they've been our long-term design partners. They designed all those earlier Boat of the Year awards. They're the designers of the 52 and the new 56. Little guy walking by. Yeah, so we work with James Hakes, our internal designer, and then also Morelli Melvin.
Great. Well, thanks for your time, and good luck with the next one and with the Boat of the Year.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to come aboard, and we hope you enjoyed what you saw.
Great, thanks.